The man saved $500 every day for a full 35 years. Strangely, however, he lived like a homeless person. He used an old toothbrush as a comb to brush his hair, and even the mirror in front of him was a patchwork of piles of discarded nail clippers. Even stranger, the man would hang mineral water in the air every day, using a needle to puncture 3 small holes in the bottom of each bottle, and luxuriously use the mineral water to take a shower. After washing up, the man would put on a vest, put on headphones, and begin his daily morning exercise. But the place where he exercised was not a park, but a narrow and gloomy stairwell filled with snacks and drinks. After the morning exercise, the man took off his headphones and knelt down to pray, but the object of worship was an ordinary red backpack. The man's expression was solemn, not daring to show the slightest disrespect to the backpack, because if it weren't for this backpack that refreshed every day, he would have been trapped in the stairwell for 35 years and wouldn't have survived until now. After a long time, the man finished praying. He held the backpack in his hands, unzipped it, and took out a box of juice, neatly placing it against the wall. Then, he took out another $500 and casually placed it on the impressive pile of bills in the corner. Finally, he sorted and placed the backpack and the remaining items inside, finishing a day's work, and leisurely started reading a book while munching on an apple. In contrast to the man's orderliness, the old man living upstairs had completely given up hope. Trapped in the stairwell for 35 years, he lived in a daze every day. Not only did he never exercise, he didn't even bother to clean his personal hygiene. Apart from eating and sleeping, he had long lost all other life skills. The old man's corridor was full of garbage, and the smell was nauseating, completely opposite to the cleanliness and tidiness of the man's side. But he didn't care about this environment at all. Anyway, all the items in the corridor would refresh out of thin air every day, and they could never be exhausted no matter how much he squandered and wasted. From the outside, no one would believe that this slovenly old man was once a handsome and dashing police officer, while the spirited man next to him was once a fleeing petty thief. Even more outrageous was that 35 years ago, the old man accidentally shot and killed the man's brother with his gun. But in this endlessly looping corridor from which they could never escape, the two had long since forgiven each other and relied on each other. However, just as the man thought that life would remain this peaceful forever, an accident happened. On this day, the old man suddenly grabbed his head and shouted in pain. The man hurried to his side, looking at him anxiously. At this moment, the old man seemed to be enduring some great pain, repeating unclear words over and over again. Before the man could figure out the situation, the old man lost his life. After the old man's death, the man began to feel restless, not knowing how he would spend the coming days alone. He ran up and down the stairs trying to distract himself, but it had no effect at all. After only a week, the man's mental state began to have problems. The oppressive environment in the corridor made the lonely man become irritable, messing up the meticulously maintained corridor. In order to find relief as soon as possible, the man took out a gun that had been sealed for 35 years, wanting to end it all. However, no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't pull the trigger of the gun. In the end, the man realized in despair that he would continue to be trapped in this endlessly looping corridor, never able to escape.